This is Checkpoint. Thanks for joining us on the program tonight. The National Super Alliance is where we'd like to begin tonight, that has now postponed the much-awaited swearing-in ceremony of Raila Odinga. NASA Principal Musalia Mudavadi says they will announce a new date later. But has the Raila camp finally bowed to pressure by the international community to tone down their political stance? Our senior reporter Chris Tairu reports.
I, Raila Amolo Odinga, in full realization of the high calling.
It was highly anticipated that NASA leader Raila Odinga and his deputy Kalonzo Musyoka will be sworn in as President and Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, respectively, on Tuesday. But less than 48 hours to the much-awaited day, NASA has changed tune.
Following extensive internal consultations and engagement with a wide range of national and international interlocutors, the NASA leadership wishes to advise the NASA fraternity and the general public that the swearing-in of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka as President and Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya and the launch of the People's Assembly scheduled for Tuesday, 12th December, have been postponed to a later date.
Without taking any questions, NASA Principal Musalia Mudavadi indicated that the move will not change their resolve to ensure that Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka take over the country's leadership.
We remain fully on course in pursuit of electoral justice. Our resistance of dictatorship is resolute and irreversible. We remind the NASA fraternity to maintain our civic and economic resistance.
But the move does not come as a surprise. There has been piling pressure from the international community and religious leaders on the NASA leadership to shelve their plans to swear in Raila on grounds that it will be unconstitutional.
We are aware that this will be a disappointment to the people of Kenya who are eagerly waiting for this occasion. We wish to assure them that our resolve has not changed.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has already ruled out any engagements with the NASA leaders, urging the opposition to stop politicking and spearhead development.
Lakini hii ya kuongea masiasa, hii igojee 2022, mtaongea na William, mimi nitakuwa naenda nyumbani.
Sasa tuko na serikali, tuko na viongozi, na tuko na agenda ya kupeleka taifa letu mbele.
Any national dialogue must have electoral justice on the agenda. We are not interested in sharing illegitimate dictatorial power.
The swearing-in was to be held in Mombasa County. And after postponing the much-awaited swearing-in of NASA leader Raila Odinga, the rallying call to NASA supporters is to remain calm even as they wait for new dates to swear in Raila Odinga. Chris Tairu, KTN News at the Okoa Kenya offices in Nairobi.
The Supreme Court will Monday afternoon explain in detail why it upheld President Uhuru Kenyatta's win in the contentious repeat presidential election. Tonight, our political affairs reporter Murimi Mwangi highlights key queries that the Supreme Court has to answer and explains why some legal experts want the presidential petitions framework reviewed.
As Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto donned the 2013 capes as president and deputy president respectively, following the first election under the 2010 constitution, two members of the inaugural Supreme Court bench, Justice Mukin Wanjala and retired Chief Justice Will Mutunga, shared critical lessons on the abrasive brand of Kenyan politics and the divisive nature of presidential poll petitions.
The nature of our politics is very ethnic. It's very fractional. Okay, you know, they use everything. It's ethnicity, they use religion, they use race, they use region, they use clan.
In Kenya now, from my view, whichever way you decide on a presidential election petition, you will annoy half of the Kenyan people, and you will really make another half very happy.
And this is the exact state of affairs in Kenya, as the Chief Justice David Maraga chaired 6-judge bench, also comprising Justice Wanjala, prepares to explain in detail why it upheld President Kenyatta's re-election in the contentious October 26 repeat presidential poll, boycotted by his arch-political nemesis, opposition leader Raila Odinga.
From the threshold, there is no anxiety about tomorrow's decision, both from the Jubilee side and also from the NASA side. Reason being, Jubilee has already procured processes to enable it start the formation of government.
Confronting the judges is the query on legitimacy of the outcome of an election that was postponed and later cancelled in 25 constituencies, a move which petitioners Halef Halifa, Njonjo Mue and Harun Mwau separately argued had contravened Article 138(2) of the 2010 Constitution that seemingly necessitates the conduct of a presidential election in each of the 290 constituencies.
It can logically be asked, the citizens in those 26 constituencies that did not vote at all, are they obliged to recognize the presidency of Uhuru Kenyatta? That's a valid question.
There is no perfect election. There will always be errors in an election. But you cannot invalidate an election unless those errors and discrepancies are of such a nature as to affect the actual outcome. That is the law.
No reform, no election. But arguably the most eagerly awaited explanation from the judges is the legal implications of Odinga's October 10th decision to quit the repeat poll, demanding for a new election preceded by fresh nominations in 90 days. A move which was subsequently followed by High Court Judge John Mativo's verdict, ordering inclusion of Third Way Alliance leader Dr. Ekuru Aukot on the ballot, giving a leeway for other fringe candidates from the August general election to also run in the repeat poll.
If the law indicates that all matters presidential must be handled by the Supreme Court, on what basis could the IEBC have relied upon a decision of the High Court to include other candidates?
Issues that may be now remaining are political questions, which, of course, the people who have interest in those issues might want to justify their actions through the Constitution and the laws that we have. But it is a question that probably the Court of Laws might not resolve.
Now, even with the presidential petition out of the picture, the political dust kicked off by the contentious repeat presidential poll, it appears, will take time to settle, even as Kenyans await the full version of the judgment. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News, in Nairobi.
Bomet County is mourning 7 residents, including renowned artists who died in a car crash Saturday night. Disturbing details have emerged that one of the artists may have predicted his death just 1 week ago. Here's Shadrach Miti with that report.
9 artists from the Bomet-based Kenene International Band had perfect plans to reap from this festive season as they headed to Ilot area in Timboroa for a performance they were expected to stage on Saturday night. But those plans were rudely cut short as 7 members of the group who had boarded a Toyota Probox car died instantly in the Saturday night accident. An accident said to have occurred at about 8:30 p.m. at Kamara area along Nakuru Eldoret Highway.
Mama na mtoto kwa hii trela, lakini hawakuumia. Juu nilikuja nikawauliza mko aje, akasema tuko sawa, hawakuumia hao. Mali tu shida yote ilikuwa ni kwa hiyo Probox yenye imemaliza watu 7.
Initial plans by the group were for all members to travel in one vehicle. But as some of the surviving members said, a decision was reached that some of them to board a matatu after the ill-fated Probox became too small to accommodate them all. A last-minute change of plans that saved some members of the 9-member group.
Tulikuwa tunaenda disco by the way. Tulikuwa tunaenda disco place inaitwa Iloti. Kwa ile jamaa mwenye ulimwona hapo hivi na Probox. Kufika Total Alkari ikapotea, tukakaa kidogo kitu 5 minutes, tukaambiwa kuna accident imehappen huko mbele, na hiyo accident ni kama kulikuwa na wasanii ndani. So tukashanga sasa hawa ni wasanii gani, na tulikuwa na place moja. Kujaribu kupiga Kenene, one of the artists achukui simu. Nikajaribu kumpiga niko DJ wetu achukui simu.
The sudden death has left many friends to the deceased in shock, with some of them recalling the last moments. Among those who perished in the crash is Weldon Cheriot, fondly referred to as Kenene International by his fans, alongside his dancers and Nicodemus Rotich, also known as DJ Nico of Embassy. And in what might appear as a premonition to his death, Nicodemus Rotich had updated his Facebook account a week ago with this message. Sometimes you need to be in a silent and peaceful environment as an individual to think about your life. What will happen in case you are pronounced no more? Will your best beloved friend remain by your side till you are sent off? Will she or he have courage to sit beside your coffin till you are laid to rest with tears dripping down? The post continued. Will she remain single after you have gone, or she will have one immediately there at the funeral after you are covered with soil? Tafakari hayo, nimeenda.
Tunasikia uchungu sana kwa yeye. Tumepoteza mtu yenye ndio anajulikana hapa Kenya yetu.
Kenene alikuwa mtu tumekaa naye, amekuwa rafiki yangu. Alikuwa napenda nyimbo zake.
Close friends and relatives gathered at the Moyo Sub-County Hospital mortuary to condole with the bereaved, as Deputy President William Ruto led other Rift Valley leaders including Bomet Governor Dr. Joyce Laboso and her Kericho counterpart Paul Chepkwony in mourning the deceased, timing their death as a big loss even as they appealed to motorists to be observant of traffic rules. Shadrach Miti, KTN News.
And tonight, Baringo Senator Gideon Moyo has sent a message of condolence to the families of the artists. He said the death had robbed the community and the country of promising youngsters who use their singing talent not only to entertain but also educate. He prayed to God to give the families necessary fortitude to bear the loss. And still on the death toll on our roads, the toll from Saturday's accident in Moinonin along the Marigat-Loruk Road involving an administration police truck has risen to 21. 14 people died on the spot in the Saturday afternoon accident after the police truck, whose driver was avoiding hitting goats, veered off the road and rolled several times. 7 people died while receiving treatment at the Baringo County Referral Hospital.
At the Baringo County Referral Hospital, 16 people who were injured in Saturday's accident at Moinonin along the Marigat-Loruk Road in Baringo County continue to recuperate. 23 people were admitted here on Saturday afternoon, but 7 died while undergoing treatment, bringing the death toll from the Moinonin accident to 21. Turkana Governor Josephat Nanok and his Baringo counterpart Stanley Kiptis visited those admitted at the Baringo County Referral Hospital.
We are only saying sorry, and we appeal for assistance from the national government, especially during the burial of the affected people, because we want the family not to suffer a lot, because we have even a family of 4.
The accident involved an administration police truck carrying foodstuffs and ferrying 5 administration police officers and 37 civilians to Kapedo from Marigat town.
I know the Kenyans are asking how come there were so many people and a lot of food on a police truck. Indeed, I mean, the areas around Kapedo and Lomelo are areas that are affected by insecurity due to banditry. And there used to be public transport. Remember, many of you can remember the Achengei bus that used to leave from Nakuru through here and going to Kapedo almost every day. But public transport has been paralyzed. There are no businessmen who want to invest into that. So government vehicles have become the only means that people can be able to hike a lift to go and buy food, businessmen also.
Police say the accident occurred as the driver of the truck was attempting to avoid hitting goats which were crossing the road when the truck veered off the road and rolled several times. 14 people, all of them civilians, died on the spot. Rita Tinina, KTN News.
More than 2,000 civilians were killed by Al-Shabaab in Somalia this year alone. The United Nations Assistance Mission in Somalia has released a report with details of the continued destruction by the terror group. Al-Shabaab were behind 729 abductions and were also responsible for 86 targeted assassinations in Somalia.
There were over 4,500 civilian casualties in the approximately 20-month period up to and including the terrible bomb on October the 14th. And of the incidents attributable to Al-Shabaab, 79% are as a result of the use of IEDs, improvised explosive devices, whether they are vehicle-borne or otherwise.
We have indicated that 17% of violations could not be attributed. This is either because they were unknown or unidentified. And this relates to also our access in the field. So we've tried to be conservative in the numbers, and that's why we've tried to also make the point that this is a baseline for continued discussions.
Now, it's been more than 3 months since Kenya introduced the ban on all plastic carrier bags, and the manufacturing industry is feeling the ripple effects. While many plastic manufacturing companies closed shop weeks after the ban, for one man, the move may have breathed new life into his business. Timothy Otieno spent a day with Dr. Oscar Agan, who uses the plastic carrier bags still in circulation to make building material.
Welcome to a world where garbage is gold. Here at the Continental Renewable Energy Company, plastic waste, including the recently banned plastic carrier bags, are offering solutions to Kenya's construction industry.
Because I already have a substitute for plastic.
Dr. Oscar Agan, who started the commercial business back in 2013, uses plastic waste to make such poles that can be used during construction and even for street lighting purposes. The process begins by crushing the plastic waste using this industrial crusher. What remains of the plastic material is then added to a mixture that contains a bit of sand. The materials are then loaded onto this machine that molds the mixture, resulting into this. Poles made out of plastic bags and other wastes that vary in density and size depending on the need.
An advantage that termites don't eat them, they don't rot, and it's difficult to burn them, and they cannot be vandalized for firewood, which is common with the other timber products.
The process, which takes about 20 minutes per pole, has these employees making about 100 poles a day. And now the method is not only providing cheaper, more reliable and environmentally friendly tools of construction, but is also a source of employment for many youth in Kariobangi, where one of the factories is based. Musyoka Kilonzi, who has been working here since April this year, admits that the factory has been a source of hope to many.
Inasaidia juu hizi plastics they can't give. They can't, rot.
The factory pays up to 10,000 shillings per every ton of plastic brought here for recycling.
It's very tough, yes.
And it's not only poles that are produced. The same process, identified as resin, has its mixture smelted to produce even roofing tiles.
Now, the advantage of this is that it lasts for a very long time. I would give you about a 40-year warranty on it. And the thing is that it doesn't burn. There is a fire retardant element in it. And even if you pour super petrol in it, it will not catch fire, it will not burn. And it doesn't break either.
And all this from plastic?
From waste, from your waste garbage. The concept here is to house Africans affordably using their garbage.
It is just one of the many eco-friendly solutions emerging from the ban on plastic carrier bags, which even formed the basis of a 3-day conference by the United Nations Environment Assembly, which resolved to increase funding for research and development of such solutions.
Plastic itself is not a problem. It's the way Kenyans dispose of plastic that is a problem. So I think a lot more focus should be on the way plastic is disposed, as opposed to banning the end product, because we can see this is the solution for construction.
And it's a solution to building that is coming from our own hands. So for Dr. Oscar Agan and his team who engage in the business of manufacturing, their main form of currency is garbage and waste, most of which are plastic, ranging from plastic bottles such as these ones and even plastic carrier bags that were recently banned by the government, which they use to make building material, all in an effort to ensure that Kenya's future is more eco-friendly. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.